Hey everybody, this is Brother Speak of the Brother Speak podcast. And I was thinking about a conversation that I had with a friend of mine, a former coworker. And I haven't heard from him in like years. Well, let me take that back. I mean, I saw him in passing, but we haven't actually talked in years. So he called me because he was talking about he was on a date, and of course it turned into a trying to condemn me for my actions. So apparently, he follows God. He's always been a godly person. He always believed in God, but he has a lot of demons. He still don't control his lust like that. He said he finally got rid of the porn and addiction and stuff like that, which, I said kudos to him. Hey, you doing good. Um, and he was trying to, are you still doing it? Are you still doing it? I'm like, I'm not gonna tell nobody. I was like, listen, I'm not gonna tell you all my business. And, he's trying to push to me real hard. You need to follow Jesus. You're gonna go to hell. You know what's gonna happen. And I said, well, I'll deal with that when it comes. But you know what's gonna happen. It's eternal. I said, well, I will deal with that when it comes. But right now, I'm not on that right now. My life is my life right now. And I'm living it with not no regrets. I'm not faking no funk with anybody. I'm living my life how I live it. Now, once I stop, it's going to be because I want to stop. I'm not going to go into any religion with fear. I've done that. So when I decide to stop what I'm doing and give my life to Jesus, as you want to say, I'm going to do it without no regrets, without no wondering what's out there. And I told him that. And he said, well, I'm just worried. And then he proceeds to tell me about his date and how the women are not cooperative and, he's struggling out there. And, you know, I'm looking at the struggle of a godly person. I'm like, you're trying to be this godly person. You're trying to live in this world where you're dealing with people who are not godly. A lot of times, a lot of people have a lot of issues out here, and you're trying to preach, but you still have issues. Not a moral problems that's going on. So it's like you're trying to preach to someone, but you haven't even figured it out. And talking to him, like he haven't even gone to church. He can't even be in a church setting without having panic attacks, which that's crazy to me. But he reading the Bible on his own, and like it's nothing wrong with that. But you're not following everything that needs to be in that Bible, but you're trying to talk to me about it. You're trying to preach the word, but you're not even following it, and you're still struggling with it. And that's the struggle of these godly people. They want to preach to you. They want to condemn you, but you look at their life, they're not really following it. And I get it, it's a struggle because they want to be this godly person. They want to be that, but you're living in a world that is not conducive to that. And you have your own mental issues that keep you from being in that mode, which is which is sad, and it's the big struggle. But at the end of the day, you're not really that godly person that you think that you are. And it's very troubling. I was listening to him, and I said, "Look, I'm gonna follow how I'm gonna live, and whatever happens, happens." And I'm like, I'm not gonna go in. I'm not gonna go follow because I'm scared of what might happen if I don't. No, not gonna do that. So I had to ask him. I said, "Do you love Jesus?" Yeah, I do. But I'm kind of, I don't know. But I roll with it. I didn't try to challenge him on that one. But I just don't like people want to come and condemn me for my lifestyle. But then you're not still not completely there in what you're trying to be. It's crazy. You're trying to be this moral person, but you're not there yet. You're still struggling with dating. You're still struggling um, with the flesh, as he said. And like you're not there. So it's like, so I was like asking, do you have something to do? Do Especially when you're talking about the women, I'm like, dude, do you have something to do? Do you have other things that you have going on? And the only thing else you have is the Bible. And I'm like, that's part of the problem. You know, I, the struggle with a lot of godly people because they don't have nothing else going on, nothing else to do, and the only thing they have is the Bible, and then trying to make everything fit their narrative of what they want. It's just like that whole thing with Denia and Derek Jackson. Well, Denia was trying to preach to Derek and trying to preach to all these women, but she's not really understanding what she's trying to do. You're too new. You still haven't even figured it out, but you're trying to quote unquote save other people. It's like, man, you're not there. You're not where you need to be. You need to be trying to save yourself, man. Focus on you. So but a lot of these godly people, they can't focus on themselves because if they really dig deep in themselves, they know they're not where they need to be. They know they're not following the Bible like they should be. The whole thing. I'm not talking about bits and pieces. I'm talking about the whole thing. And it's a sad state because they know to follow the Bible from, and like I say, just any religion. Let me backtrack. I'm using the Bible because that's the 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 friend of mine. He's the Bible, but you can take a lot of these religions to follow it to the full extent requires a sacrifice that a lot of people are not willing to make, and that's the struggle of the godly people. You have to sacrifice a lot of stuff. You got to sacrifice desires and lustful things and things that would be more pleasurable as opposed to following a set religion, and that's a big struggle. you know and the other struggle is they don't have nothing else outside of that. Like my friend, like, dude, he wants a wife, he wants a girlfriend, but he wants her to make him, he's depending on God to find this woman. But the problem is he's expecting God to do the work, but he's not willing to do any of the work himself for himself. And that's what I took away from the conversation. Like, you're not where you need to be, and you're trying to invite somebody into your world, hoping that they will help you to get to where you need to be, which that does not work. Your path of God is your path. And how you get there, you have to work on making that your path. And you can't bring somebody into it, and it's a struggle. But I mean, to anybody who's on this godly path, make sure you yourself is fixed first before you try to fix somebody, because it just comes off as you're trying to condemn somebody, and trying to judge them harshly, in the hopes that they change. And I'm like, people gonna see right through that. Like, I told them, I'm like, look, I'm gonna live the life I'm gonna live, and when I decide to stop what I'm doing, then I will give my life to Jesus, to God, and it will be no regrets, no fear. You know, and I think that's where the struggle with the godly person be, and is your fear of this eternal damnation. You want this environment to be to where it's comfortable for you to be in your godly mission. But I'm sorry, world is not going to be like that. There's going to be people who are worse than I am, doing all kinds of debauchery, but they okay with it. And there'll be people who are going to be fakers, who say they godly, but they fake as fuck. They got mental issues and all kinds of crazy stuff. That stuff you're gonna, as a godly person, gonna have to deal with. You know, the best thing you do, save yourself. Make sure you good. Help them be a listening ear, and be that way. Like I told my friend, I'm like, I'm not gonna fake being under Jesus. I'm not gonna fake being under God, and where somebody's going to see that and think this is the way of being a Christian. This is the way of being a Baptist, or this is the way of being if I was in another type of religion. This is the way of being this person. I'm not going to play like that. I don't play with God. I take that very seriously. And I think that a lot of people don't take it seriously. They want to play with God. They want to, because in my mind, if you're struggling with what you're doing, you're playing with God. If you're following this religion because you fear eternal damnation, you're playing with God. You're not doing it because you love God, you love Jesus and all that. You're doing it out of fear. And that's a bad thing to do, because fear comes resentment. Then it comes hatred. Now you're turning against God. Can't do that. And I'm not gonna do it. So, but that was a conversation that I had, especially for someone I haven't talked to, like really seriously talked to for years. And and the sad part is, even with his following of Jesus, he still have the same problem. The same problem is he can't deal with women like that. He can't even deal with society like that. It's yeah, it's troubling, and it makes me wonder, like, what was really the point? What's really the point of following Jesus, following God, if you still struggling after years and years? You know, I don't know. It just seems like it's a waste. You still under this struggle, this long struggle, and you're trying to save people, but you're drowning, but you're still trying to save people, which is uh I don't know. It just seemed like a lot to me that you would do that. But that's how people do. It's just like online. We got these groups out here. They drowning in their misery. They they hate the fact that their life sucks and that whatever relationship they were supposed to have, whatever job they were supposed to have, whatever life they wanted to imagine themselves, they didn't make it. And so they got to vent and they get a following. And, you know, people, they get took. Meanwhile, these people who are suffering, trying to advise you on how to live your life, they're getting paid and other people are not getting the benefits. And ultimately, they not getting the benefits because they still miserable. So, it's a weird world out here. Be careful out there, everybody. Be very careful because a lot a lot of these godly people are struggling, but they trying to preach to you, but you can see they struggling, and it's just like you don't want to be mean. I didn't want to be mean to him. I didn't really want to go too deep into him, but you know, I just I just see the struggle, and it just seemed very hypocritical that you're still struggling, but you're trying to get me to follow you, and you still haven't recovered. You still struggling. You know, it's a weird dynamic, but that's how people are, man. But anyway, this is Brush Speak of the Brush Speak podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, black men, be powerful or be powerless. The choice is yours. Peace.